Having trouble with your garage door? Problem solved. Call Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. We're your go-to team for garage door repair, new garage doors, openers, and more. We offer same-day service. We're always ready when you need us. Best of all, you can book your appointment online or talk to a live operator 24/7. No machines, no waiting. So whether it's a broken spring or a brand new garage door, trust the local experts at Direct Service Garage Doors. Call us today or visit directserviceoverhead.com.
Oh, there it is, baby. Arkansas advances. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, my goodness. Oh, there we go. That's what we're looking for right there. That's what we're looking for. Eating up those crabs they kept talking about at their fancy little restaurant. You were all stuffed up on crabs. You lost today. No, let's be real. Let's be real. Ole Miss played out of their mind. I mean, let's not act like these guys didn't just – they took Arkansas in what it could have been double overtime. Absolutely tip of the cap to Ole Miss, man. Dog shit all year. Horrible second year for Ole Miss and Beard. But, I mean, they found a way in the tournament to be an annoyance. And we talked about it yesterday. Their path – I mean, right here, look, this is just insane for Ole Miss. Again, tip of the cap. Texas, they're the underdog. Georgia, they're the underdog. Bama, they're the underdog. It wasn't until this game, 4 games in 4 days, they finally fell. And it took overtime to knock them out. Just incredible, man. You got to give them their flowers. It was very, very impressive. Pigpen says, thought you forgot about his tie. Well, you got to understand, before I go live, there's like a number of things I got to do. So if I'm behind in one area or another and it's already the game's over and I don't have everything, like my thumbnail was not updated. And in fact, I think I got it updated. So I had to go back and fix something. And then that put me behind a little bit. Hey, everybody, make sure you like, share, hit the subscribe button for everyone that's just hopping in here. I see Arky56 is, he's gracing us with his presence. Need to hit them free throws more. Here's the crazy thing. In regulation, Arkansas shot like 80%. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Why is my Arkansas stuff out of the picture here? What's going on? There we go. You can see the chrome dome there in the Razorback autograph ball. Ty prediction for tomorrow. Shocked Florida fell, says Manic 94-26. Wow. That was stunning. Listen, Vanderbilt beating Florida, not the biggest shock in the world, all things considered. But I didn't see Florida losing that game. And like I said, I mean, I was preparing Arkansas. I had a feeling they were going to beat Ole Miss. And I was already in last night's live. I was already telling you guys, like, right, here's what you got to do to Florida. Here's what you got to do. And look what happened. Florida shot like 31% outside. I mean, it just wasn't happening. Boogie Flan didn't look great. You know, not exactly breaking news there, although he did turn it up as the season progressed and Florida won a whole bunch of games. Vanderbilt is still, like all year, even after Arkansas frog stomped the Commodores, they picked themselves up. Everyone got frog stomped this year. Everyone got their asses kicked. Now, Arkansas maybe won too many times, but nobody's immune to it. That's just how wild college basketball is. That's how wild it is. Again, make sure you guys like, share, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, too. Hit the notification bell. It's up there. If Thomas didn't miss that first free throw, we would have won already, but at least we won in overtime. Frat boy, you are absolutely correct. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Again, Arkansas shot so good at the free throw line. I mean, I think Brazil was like 1 of 2 until overtime. But yeah, Leak, I mean, who's been your best free throw shooter, and this guy can't drain both those free throws. It's ball game right then and there. That's ball game. That's it. That's all she wrote, in my opinion. And Ole Miss managed to make it into a game. I mean, it was absolutely. It's just. It's as much as you want to give Ole Miss the credit. Arkansas too. I mean, you guys, do you see what I'm talking about? Some of you, I don't get pushback a lot when I say this is some atrocious defense. You know, every once in a while, Brim will come in and kind of, you know, old Brim, he is a ball knower, and I'm going to give him his credit. But I don't know that he argues with me on the defensive side, though. But every once in a while, some people will kind of give me some pushback on the defensive talk. And I think 80% of live chat, you're ball knowers, you know, this defense is just bad. So for the 20% of you who don't get what I'm saying, do you see what I'm talking about in games like this? So much ball watching. Confusion. I've been saying it all year. That was some pushback that I got on Ewan earlier in the year. I was like, this dude doesn't know where he's at on defense and around the post. What is he doing? What is Ewan doing? And since the year progressed, guess what? Those people vanished. Those people don't come up and say anything anymore because they know I'm right. Oh, damn. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is some of that, and you got to give Ole Miss a ton of credit today. But it was also, in some ways, similar to Florida when they beat Kentucky. It was just Florida not playing some desirable basketball. Florida not looking the part at all in their win over Kentucky. You know, Kentucky made that interesting. And then you saw what happened today. I kind of felt like that was Arkansas's version of what happened today. Was they just, I don't know. It's like, yeah, we're here. We're going to play basketball. Acuff, who got off to a terrible start, and then finished it off with, like, you know, just typical Acuff, right? It's like the more garbage you want to talk about Acuff, like, he's just overrated. Of course, you saw some of that here and there. Not in our Discord, not in our bubble of Razorback fans, but, you know, social media. Like, Acuff's overrated. We had someone in our live chat yesterday. I'm sure that old boy was talking all kinds of shit. Said that Arkansas would lose to Ole Miss today. Where's he at? Oh, wait, we timed him out, didn't we? But Acuff turned it around. Those people were probably flapping their jaws too, right? Is it just me or is it harder to win this time of year? Yes, Matthew Coleman, that is absolutely correct. It can be. Teams like Ole Miss are playing some inspiring basketball in this incredible run they went on. Again, got to give them credit, but I'm so happy. They're going to have to get those crabs to go. I'm doing it again. They're going to have to get those crabs to go. On your way back to Oxford. Listen, whatever happens tomorrow, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm sure if Vanderbilt, you know, gives you complete belt to ass tomorrow, yeah, I'm going to be pissed, and you're going to hear me on the post game, probably going to be angry. But assuming it's a decent ball game, you know, who knows? Vanderbilt is playing good ball, too, in this tournament, although they didn't have to go on the run that Ole Miss did. A lot of people think Vanderbilt is better than Arkansas. I mean, they keep seeding them higher and all that, and you talk about the net rankings and everything. There are people that believe that Vanderbilt is actually a more complete team than Arkansas. They could be proven right tomorrow. I don't know. Just make it a ball game and then get ready for the NCAA tournament, right? That's really what a lot of us are ready for. I love that we get some more Arkansas basketball. I love that. But I'm not going to be completely heartbroken despite the fact Arkansas's only ever won one SEC tournament. Might be a little bummed. And, you know, we're going to be a little reactionary in the post game. We got a $5 super chat. Put me in the octagon with any Acuff haters. Nice win. Go Hogs. That's from Fishman. I appreciate the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Fishman. Yeah, we did beat Vanderbilt earlier in the year. We did, but that was then. This is now, right? I mean, the season, it just, that's how things go. These things happen in waves. You just start playing some better ball as the season goes on, or sometimes you play worse, right? So Hogs win SEC. I just wrote ship. The championship tomorrow versus Vandy. 86% of you are saying yeah. You're saying yeah. I don't know. I might venture in the no category because you had to fight your ass off to beat Ole Miss in overtime. You had to fight your ass off. And the question for tomorrow is, Billy Richmond, does he play better? He did not play great ball tonight, guys. This was probably Billy Richmond's worst game I've seen him play on both ends of the floor all year. I'm not one to share our DMs or my text messages, but Tim Neal, the co-host on Monday Night Lights Live, was kind of mocking the idea that Billy Richmond's this great defender. He is. There's a reason why he's all SEC, all defensive team. He is the best on-ball defender there is on this roster, on and off ball. He is a fantastic defender, and he turned into a two-way player, and today was just not – listen, that happens, right? Like Acuff not having the great first half. It happens. We'll see if he could pull it out and play better tomorrow. He's got to play some more inspiring ball tomorrow. I'll say that. But Tim's not wrong when he criticizes his play today, because he was absolutely down in this game. Yeah, we do got to hand out a gold chain. This might actually be tougher than I thought. Leak not hitting both those free throws at the end really kind of irks me a certain way. And then he also had 3 turnovers. Not terrible, just 9 turnovers for Arkansas. Anytime you're south of 10, when you're single digits in the turnover department, that's pretty good. Okay. And then when you're further south of that, that's really good. And, they were just 1 shy of 10 turnovers, but some of it was just not heads up basketball by the guys, especially Leak and Acuff. Acuff had 5 turnovers today. Acuff did have 5 turnovers, but then he turned it on in the second half, didn't he? He had the kind of ball we thought he would have. He was making his way towards a double-double. I mean, he started to play better, did a good job getting to the free throw line, took more shots than anybody. There was, and Ole Miss fans are going to complain about the margin of fouls. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Again, make sure you guys like, share. Please share the content. Sharing is caring. I would really appreciate it. I feel like I got to get this one last. Hold on. There we go. We'll post that one. Let's see. Let's read some comments. Leak in Brazil could have ended the game, but we won anyway, says Fishman. But Billy can defend, says Steven. No, he can't. Yeah, no one's saying he can't. Today, it wasn't as good. He was certainly struggling. Ty Beard, right before the game, commented that Acuff should go number 1 in the draft, and then said to remember that during the game, did they have a plan for him in the first half, and it worked. And that plan was number 6, Camerdine. Camerdine was, all 3 of his steals, I'm pretty sure, were all on Acuff. They completely, for Acuff to have, 5 points in the first half? That's that's not Acuff ball. No, he had 4. He had 4 points in the first half. He was 2 of 7. When he tried to dribble drive to the rim, Ole Miss just collapsed on him. And then they double teamed him out in the perimeter. It might be a delay double team or right out the gate. I'm surprised they weren't full court pressing more, trying to get them to, throw Arkansas off their game. But then the problem is, if they break loose, Arkansas is going to find a way to get right to the bucket. Arkansas is just a team that can break that full court press. They could do it, man. They're so quick and fast and athletic. They have more talent than you. They're bigger than Ole Miss. But they did a good job, and then it just broke free. And I think part of that was getting Camerdine into a little bit of foul trouble there in the second half. Pretty sure he picked up, it was 2 fouls in the first half, which was not good. And then really after that third foul, you notice they had to play off of Acuff more, but they still were trying to double him. They were still collapsing, and all their shots were contested. I got a bunch of notes for this first half. A bunch. Let me see here. Billy he did. Billy, what? Now that is fair. That is very fair. Billy might have been cramping most of that game. Or not most of it, but certainly in that second half, he did seem a little slow. And I saw them working on him. I figured it was cramps. Maybe that's what was happening there. Twizzle, what's up, Twizzy2X? You might be new here. Make sure you share the content and maybe, hit the like button and subscribe if you're brand new here. Maybe you're not. maybe you're a lurker, and that's fine too. We love our lurkers. We love our lurkers. We just want them to be a little more active and maybe comment and question and share the content. That's what we want from our lurkers also, along with the active folks in the comment section. Yeah, I think they absolutely had a plan for Acuff, and it worked for a period of time. Now, the other thing too is one of the reasons they can advance, and this is something that needs to be discussed. They have 8 guys that rotated in for 20 minutes or more. They had 8 players that could rotate for 20 minutes or more. Now, Gaifa, is that his name? Number 13. He was actually 17 minutes, but close enough. They had 8 guys that could rotate those kind of minutes. And then on top of that, Chest had 6 minutes, even though he didn't contribute outside of much other than a steal and 3 rebounds. I mean, that's still pretty impactful 6 minutes. And Cassia, number 88, didn't do much either, but he only played 3 minutes. He did have a rebound, which was an offensive board. Not terrible 3 minutes if you're getting an offensive rebound, but you got to do a little more than that, right? But no, they could rotate in 8 solidified guys. When you're getting 16, 17 minutes, and that's the fewest minutes of that 8-man rotation, that's part of the reason why you could go a little bit deeper and why they were able to stretch this game out a little bit more. And by the way, 6 minutes are 6 minutes, man. That's nice that you had a 9th guy that could go in for 6 minutes and have a little bit of an impact. Arkansas didn't have that. Arkansas's got 7 guys. Sealy, has he played at all in the tournament? I don't think he has. I don't think he's checked in at all. 7-man rotation is not ideal versus a team that's as hungry and desperate as Ole Miss was. And they can go 2, maybe even 3 guys deeper than you can. Arkansas is going to see a lot of that in the tournament. They're going to see a lot of that. Their defense, too much ball watching, way too much ball watching. It's gotten to the point where you're going to pull your damn hair out. I'm getting more and more grays from watching Arkansas's defense, just like football, right? At first it was here, I'm getting grays. Now it's here, I'm getting grays. As you can see there, these 2 areas are getting gray from watching Arkansas play shit defense in football and basketball. And now baseball's they're gonna do this over here. I'm gonna be completely gray by the end before June. I'm gonna be completely gray. Unless the baseball team can pull its head out of its ass. Although, hey, listen, at least if they do lose this series, they're not gonna get swept. But still, you want to win at Baum Walker. But anyways, Ole Miss had a game plan and it worked most of the time. And then they started to wear down a little bit. Acuff is just too much, And I think, listen, it's not like Acuff just came along in like February. It's not like, oh, now he's elite. No, he's been doing pretty damn good all through SEC conference play. A lot of teams have tried things, and they just don't work. They can wear you down, and they can do that with someone like, even though Malik had 3 turnovers, they can do that with Malik Thomas getting 29. They could do that with Brazil, who had a double-double, 16 points, 10 boards. He's in the conversation for post-game MVP. He had no turnovers. Brazil, in my opinion, had just as big of an impact on this game as Leak did. The difference is, obviously, Leak scored 29 to his 16. So, yeah, Ole Miss just they found a way to make this interesting. I'm so happy they sent them home, though, and I don't have anything personal against Beard, off-court drama aside. At least he's not that at least he's not the head coach at Florida. That's someone I just cannot stand. I don't like him. You know what? I can't stand Golden. Like, wiretap Will. I could at least he's not a smart ass, with the passive aggressive talking about, we didn't trail a minute to these guys talking about Kentucky. And listen, that's funny too, because to hell with Kentucky. I still just can't stand the arrogance of that dude and his shit talking with Cal. Oh man, I kind of wanted them I did want them in the SEC championship. I wanted to see if Arkansas could match up against them, and I think they would have. I think Arkansas would have matched up against them fine. If you watch them play in their 2 tournament games, obviously against Vanderbilt they look like pure shit, but in their win against Kentucky, it was just Kentucky looking like poo. Okay, let's get this settled. Let's get into these numbers. Ole Miss, 50% from the floor, 30 of 70. That's outstanding. A lot of it, yeah, I mean, it was Dia scoring those easy little 6-footers. Dia just 6 to 8 feet out was like Automatic. I mean, he just wasn't missing, and then he started missing a little bit. He had finished 8 of 17. He was 0 for 3 outside. He did have 5 boards, 2 assists, no turnovers, and 3 offensive rebounds. He had a huge impact on this game for Ole Miss. Not their leading scorer, though. The guy that would end up leading was A.J. Storr, who 10 of 18, 2 of 6 outside, 2 for 2 at the charity stripe, 2 boards, and 4 turnovers. So he was also a bit of a double-edged sword for Ole Miss. He had more turnovers than anybody on their roster. Coming off the bench, again, 24 points. That's pretty good for him. But, again, they're 50% from the field and then 9 of 29 outside, 31%. If you're going to beat Arkansas, the shot selection outside's got to be better. You've got to knock down the 3 ball. If you really want to make things stressful for the Razorbacks, start just knocking down the 3 ball, because the front court's already in a bunch of trouble, even though you've got a size advantage over Ole Miss. 11 of 14 at the line. That's some outstanding shooting, 79%, 31 boards, 9 assists to 11 turnovers. So they were -2. That's probably going to be the thing they look at between that and the amount of shot attempts at the charity stripe for Arkansas compared to Ole Miss. Quite a bit more for Arkansas, but again, -2 in the assist-to-turnover ratio with 11 turnovers and 9 assists, 8 steals, 5 blocks. They won that battle. According to ESPN, they won the block battle 5-1, 9 offensive rebounds, 22 defensive boards, again, 31 total. Arkansas destroyed them on the boards. It's nice to say that, though, isn't it? It's nice to say you absolutely dominated them in an area, and they did. They dominated them. It was absolutely the rebounds had a big impact on this game. So, Arkansas, what did you do to get to your 93 to win in overtime? Well, 46% overall shooting, 32 of 69. Again, on a neutral floor, you'll take that all day long. 32% outside. The outside, I've noticed a little bit of a trend. They're starting to slip with their outside shooting a little bit. I hope that ends here in Nashville. I hope they leave that behind, because we know these guys are capable of shooting on 20-plus attempts, 22 attempts. They're capable of shooting 38, 39, 40%. They are capable of doing that, and that's where things get really tricky for teams, because now you got probably Leak and Acuff knocking down threes, maybe Wagner and Brazil kind of slipping in there a little bit. Although, Richmond, I would say, but in postseason so far, he's not done too well. What is he, 0 for 2, 0 for 3 outside in the postseason so far? And they listen, 74% at the free throw line isn't bad either. 74%, that's fine. Neutral floor, that's fine. With the amount of attempts, too, 23 of 31. Arkansas just tried to drive and drive and drive. Ole Miss took 10 more threes than Arkansas, and we know how this works. And we've talked about this as much as some people want to argue about it. The more threes you take, the less opportunities you're going to provide yourself with drawing on-ball contact fouls. If you're not dribble driving to the rim, obviously you're taking less contact than if you're just going to pull up at the perimeter and try and knock down a 3. You took 10 more threes. I will admit, I thought to start the second half, some of those fouls were a little tacky on Ole Miss. But then you go to the first half and you saw what both ends of the floor were kind of getting away with. You had a feeling they were going to start calling those or blowing the whistle in the second half, and that's exactly what they did. Ole Miss just played sloppier on defense. In terms of the on-ball defense, they slipped up, too much contact. And Arkansas, Acuff, started absorbing the contact and drawing the fouls. Playing through contact. You heard Cal. If you didn't, go back and watch what he said at the end of the first half. He was going into the locker room. He said, they're not calling them. We're trying to drive. They're not calling the fouls. And he was exactly right. There was some very obvious, wow, that's a lot of on-ball contact. Where's the whistle? And then, but as the first half went on, I think he meant for both ends. I think Cal was talking about both ends. They're not calling the physical stuff. And listen, I'm going to be real. I'm fine with that as long as it's on both ends of the floor and you let them play a little. The second half, they clearly did not, and Ole Miss paid the price. They absolutely paid the price. So, again, Arkansas 74% there. They out-rebound Ole Miss 44-31. That's a big number. Plus 13 on the boards. That's big. 16 offensive rebounds to their 9. 15 assists to just 9 turnovers. So, Arkansas doing Arkansas things, winning the assist-to-turnover ratio battle. All right, so who the hell is going to get the post-game gold chain MVP? Who's getting it? Who the hell are you giving this to? Brazil had the double-double with an assist, no turnovers, 2 steals and a block with 2 offensive boards. 10 rebounds, 2 of which are offensive rebounds. 7 of 12. He was 0 for 2 outside. 16 points. But does it go to Malik, who missed that second free throw shot, but he did end up 9 of 15, 29 points. Turned the ball over a little bit too much for my liking with 3, but he also had 5 assists. It feels like it should go to Leak, though, regardless, right? Some of you were saying, let's see here. Chain to TB, says Murdoch 9473. Murdoch says 16 points, 10 boards for TB. Give that man some love. Unbiased Brim says easy, Leak. I don't know about easy, Brim. You know how I am with turnovers. I do not like 3 turnovers. But I didn't like that missed free throw at the end of the regulation either, or towards the end of regulation, which should have iced the game or put you in a better position to ice the game. No front runner for the chain. I don't think there is. This really almost feels like a coin flip for me. I don't think it's easily to Malik. I don't. Acuff is in the conversation. He does have 24 points, 5 turnovers. You're out. 5 turnovers, way too many. He was not playing heads-up ball, especially in the first half. Love the guy. Love Acuff. You guys know how I feel about Acuff. He is the GOAT. He's the greatest Razorback. I had someone in my post-live comments yesterday telling me that Moncrief is easily the greatest because of all of his accolades. That's fair. Moncrief is actually who I was surprised no one mentioned yesterday in live chat when we were talking about it. Moncrief is the guy you could argue is the greatest hooper in Razorback history. But anyways, again, I'm saying you can make an argument. I still would lean towards Acuff. It's just incredible what this dude's going to do, and he's going to do it all in 1 year. Could be top 2 pick. Could be. Some people think he could be number 1. You just cannot deny what this kid could do. So you know where I'm at with Acuff. 5 turnovers to me just eliminates you. I'm sorry. It was sloppy. His defense was sloppy. Just did not like his defensive effort. You saw him get picked clean in all 3 times. I didn't see him even try to make an attempt to get back and play defense. Guys, that is what keeps him, for a lot of people, out of that conversation. But again, that's stuff that you could work on later. We know he's a baller and he's going to be just fine in the NBA. I think he ends up at minimum a top 6, top 7 pick at minimum. So Acuff to me is out of it. It does come down for me. It looks like it's going to come down to Brazil and Leak. I'm going to go ahead, even though I don't think it's as obvious as some people believe that it is. I'm going to give it to Leak. Malik Thomas is going to be the post-game gold chain MVP right here. I'm going to give it to Leak. We can't overlook what he did. I'm not in love with the 3 turnovers. But wow, I mean, 9 of 15 shooting. He was 4 of 7 outside, 7 of 8 at the line. The one that he missed was crucial, but he was still 7 of 8. You can't hold it against him all the way, right? So Leak is going to get the gold chain. Let me put this on. Brazil, it's almost like Brazil's 1B. And I know someone's not going to be real thrilled about me not giving it to Brazil, especially with no turnovers. I love the way he played. I thought on both ends of the floor, but Leak just too much offense. He stepped up when Acuff was not doing well. He splashed. I think he started off 3 for 3 shooting outside, or maybe it was 2 for 2. Regardless, he stepped in at that guard as a guard when Acuff wasn't there. When Billy Richmond was playing poor, think about that. These are 2 other guys that have been extraordinary, especially Acuff and Richmond playing better. And both of those guys were really nowhere to be found on offense in terms of, from a scoring standpoint. Clearly, Acuff still had some key assists in the first half, and he still had a presence even when he wasn't scoring. I get that. But it was Thomas that really just kept this thing going. And by the way, he had 5 assists himself. He had 5 assists and 2 steals. So with the 5 rebounds and the 29 points, to me, it's not super obvious because you take away 2 of those turnovers, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's for me, no brainer. But Brazil is certainly in that conversation. Ewan isn't far out of that conversation. My God, actually, why aren't we talking more about Ewan? 14 points, 13 rebounds, just 1 turnover, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Now, having saying that, Yeah, his defense, 60% of this game, from what I could tell, was when you talk about ball watchers, he's one of the best ball watchers. This man might as well put up his lawn chair and grab an cold iced tea, put the white stuff on the nose and the black sunglasses and that beach hat, and just sit and sip on that tea while he's just watching guys. Drives me crazy. Watching him play around the post. He just ball watches. And then he ended up playing. He got better around the post. He started boxing guys out. Why he had the 13 rebounds, that, and he's, there's a size and athleticism difference there. Malik Ewan is enough to get an honorary consideration for the gold chain tonight, fellas. He played good enough to be in that conversation. The man had a double-double with nearly as many boards as he had points, and he had 14 points. This is like a career high for him when you combine the two. And he had 2 blocks, 9 offensive rebounds. Damn, I'm talking myself into putting him ahead of Brazil. Am I talking myself and putting him ahead of Brazil? I mean, he played out of his mind, on rebounds, on the offensive end of the glass, and again, scoring 14. Hell of a game on that end of the floor. It is always going to be that dude's defense that why I struggle with him. I'm just saying. All right. So congrats to Leak getting the gold chain. Unlike the SEC, Ty doesn't give gold chain winners. Kirk Hanna says Ewan runner up. Can he get the silver chain? Yeah, if I had one, right? A-State caught me here. Okay, I see it. Ewan gets no love. He hasn't been great this year, but I think he deserves the chain today. I'm not giving him the chain. Again, I hate watching him play around the post on defense. A-State 81. I can't stand watching him play around the post on defense. But he's pretty outstanding that he should be the runner-up ahead of Brazil. I'm not standing in your way for that. Here's more people. Why not Ewan? Yeah, fair enough. I think it was, to me, it was like, you get caught watching the way Leak played, and again on defense he struggles too. They all do. I understand that, but Leak was cracking eggs and making breakfast, while everyone else was just. I think of it too like this. My God, Leak Thomas had scored like a lot of points. 4 of your 5, like Acuff hadn't even scored. He was the last starting 5 of the starting 5 to score. And like Leak was leading the charge, like the guy that you need to step into that role when Acuff is slow to start. It's got to be Leak, and he followed through. To me, that's really a big reason why I'm giving him the gold chain. Like, you needed someone to step up, and he did. He did. And so that was pretty big. I mean, he had 12 first half points, 3 assists, and the 1 turnover, and just the 1 rebound. But he was big while Acuff was while really Ole Miss was doing everything they could to stomp him out, right, to take him out of the game. So looking at some first half notes here, Cameron early in the game did a good job on Acuff, forcing turnovers and limiting Acuff on the scoreboard. Acuff was the last of the starting 5 to score. Almost positive that hasn't happened all year in conference play. Thomas started off red hot with the 8 points, 2 for 2 outside shooting in just the first 7 minutes of play. And I even put there could be big towards the stretch of this game. Obviously it was. The alley-oops to Brazil were all too easy. Hogs eating Ole Miss's lunch on these. They had 3 alley-oops in the first 7 or so minutes. Arkansas front court was doing well on the defensive end on the floor for the most part. They were really beating them with size, altering nearly every shot and racking up several blocks. Ole Miss, I said several. So I think Ole Miss or ESPN's wrong on this block total, by the way. Either that or they just didn't count some of those as blocks. To me, I thought they had at least 3 in the first half. But Ole Miss looked completely outmatched around the post for most of the first half. Obviously, this would change in the second half. The Pringle foul at the end of the first half was huge. Complete momentum shift. You guys know what I'm talking about there. I'm not going to go into great detail. I'm already well beyond. I meant to go into notes like 10 minutes ago. Cal at halftime. They ain't calling them in reference to the Hogs, the dribble drive offense, trying to draw inside contact fouls. Refs were allowing a lot of on-ball contact to go on both ends of the floor, not just Arkansas, but Ole Miss as well. Or not just Ole Miss, but Arkansas as well. But did seem to benefit Ole Miss more as the first half went on because of the amount of physicality they were playing with. Second half notes, the fouls were now going noticed by the officials. They were no longer unnoticed. Ole Miss with 5 fouls in the opening 3 minutes in the second half. Cal wasn't wrong about what he said in the first half, but I had a feeling this was going to go both ways throughout the second half. We all know makeup calls are a thing. And we saw how that ended up. Ole Miss just couldn't stop fouling. Some of them were tacky. Some of them were pretty obvious. A lot of them were pretty obvious. Ole Miss playing desperate ball. Part of the reason why they collected so many fouls so quickly, but made quick work of the Arkansas ball-watching front court. Scoring all too easy in this half around the rim. Yeah. Yeah, and listen, I'm going to give Pringle some credit. I thought Pringle in the first half did okay. He did okay. Ewan did okay. Brazil was I thought playing really well in that first half when you talk about that front court. We got a $5 super chat from Christopher Cox. Christopher Cox says Arkansas trailing Mississippi State 3-2 in baseball. Top of the fourth, Mississippi State catcher dropped to Mississippi. Let's see, Mississippi State catcher dropped 2 back-to-back balls, really leading to scoring runs for the Hogs. Oh, oof, ouch. All right. There's still time to change your mind, Ty. No, I'm not going to give it to Ewan, but you know what I did, though, when I was looking at those numbers, I did not see that he had 13 rebounds. I knew it was like 8 or 9. I didn't realize the man had a double-double. And I didn't realize he had 9 offensive boards. So I'm going to put him past Brazil, but I'm still going to go with Leak. I'm still going with Leak. Arkansas is -1.5 tomorrow. Okay, that could change. That could change. That fight today with Ole Miss, just not what you wanted. Not what you wanted if you're Arkansas. You wanted to take care of this game. You thought Ole Miss was going to die out as this game went on. You thought, especially inside around that 6 or 7 minute mark where you're stretching out to, what was it, an 8-point lead? 8 or 9 point lead? You thought, okay, well, now they're just going to curb stomp them. They're going to step on their necks, and this is ball game for Ole Miss. And instead, they hung around. Some of that was silly shot selection and silly turnovers by Arkansas. I think they had at least 1 or 2 turnovers in that final, 5.5 minute mark. But it just seemed like Arkansas was the team wearing down. Of course, you had Billy Richmond, who was dealing with the cramps. Ole Miss did. I mean, again, hey, they played out of their mind in that second half. You kind of wonder if they didn't like they had an out-of-body moment in the second half, or maybe it's kind of like that version of catching your second wind, when you've stayed up all night watching Arkansas basketball, doing a post-game show, and then you're trying to go to bed, but you've caught a second wind, and you end up not falling asleep till after about 2:30. And you kind of feel like you're transcending whatever, like your soul is you're looking down on your body. Maybe that's what was happening with Ole Miss in the second half. It was incredible, man. I mean, Beard did a good job getting them ready for this. Hogs going to give Vandy that Kobe Bryant treatment. Hashtag ripping and tearing. Michael Perry says Vandy gets the win tomorrow. Now, Michael Perry is a Ole Miss fan, right? Is that who we solidified as an Ole Miss fan? Or Mississippi State fan? Something. Perry, come forward, sir. Can we hop to a 3 seed if we win tomorrow? I'm not going to play that guessing game. I don't know what happens if you win tomorrow. I have no idea. But this is a big matchup here. It could. I mean, you're at the tippity top of the 5 seed for sure. The numbers like Vandy better than the eye test does. You're not wrong about that. But you gotta give them credit. They took care of business against Florida. But I kind of wonder if Florida isn't just ready to get into the tournament. That's what I'm wondering here. Or is that a sign of things to come for Florida? Is Florida actually going to be the overrated? I guess people are saying they're going to be a 1 seed. I'm not buying that they should be a for sure lock for the 1 seed. I'm not buying that. I'm just not. with the way they played in these two tournament games, especially getting frog stomped. But like we said, a lot of teams, that's happened to several teams. William Phillips says Arkansas wins it all tomorrow. I'm back and forth in who wins this game tomorrow. It feels like the most hog gonna hog kind of matchup, doesn't it? Like you beat the hell out of them in the regular season. You took care of business. Neither one of these teams are super desperate tomorrow, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, and it'll we'll find out later. Like, oh, this is what Arkansas could be playing for. I don't know that it locks you for anything. I would think it would put you in that 4 seed category, but I don't know. I have a feeling Florida wanted to get that loss out of the way before the NCAA tournament starts his Ultimate Gaming. You could be right. You very well could be onto something there. Make sure you guys retweet the Tuss Talk with Ty Twitter that has the link to this show. That'd be great if you guys did that. Troll Post says, Ty, bro, Michael Perry always says Arkansas is going to lose regardless of who we're playing. I thought we had we found a I thought he was like a Mississippi State guy. I seem to remember him being around with Mississippi State. Maybe I'm wrong. Ty, what will the crowd look like tomorrow in Nashville, but Hog fans travel? Well, here's the thing. No baseball game tomorrow. We got a doubleheader today. I mean, what else do you have to do? I mean, I think it could very well be pretty heavy, but look whose backyard it's in, though, right? I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's going to be a lot of people there. I mean, do you buy, though? I mean, here's the thing. Oftentimes when you're trying to sell these games, do you buy that Vanderbilt really is like a top 2, top 3 SEC team? Like, really, when you watch them play out, and I realize what they did to Florida, and everyone's been blown out once or twice this year, which could be the difference. Remember, we talked about that. All the Elite 8 teams from last year, how, like, I think all but one didn't have a blowout, was a single 15-point blowout all year outside of Alabama to Florida in the SEC tournament last year. That could change this year. That may not mean a damn thing this season. Who knows? But when I watch Vanderbilt, I have a hard time buying that that they are even a 4 seed in the tournament. I don't know. I get they went 26-7, and I said at the beginning of the year they're good, and they are good. Listen, plenty of damn good 6 and 7 and 8 seeds, right? Damn good 6, 7, and 8 seeds, 5 seeds, obviously. They lost. They got absolutely destroyed by Texas. They had that 3-game losing streak. Lost to Oklahoma. Lost to Missouri. Lost to Tennessee in the regular season. Went to Kentucky. Got buried. And watching them play, don't get me wrong. Tyler Tanner and those guys, they've got some ballers. They've got some outstanding players. I don't know that I buy that they're like a top. Now, are they playing better towards the end of the year? You can argue, yeah. I mean, they ended the year with that win against Ole Miss. Whatever, Ole Miss was Ole Miss. They still won, even though it was only by 3. But then they beat Tennessee back-to-back, and then they frog stomped Florida. It seems like they're playing a better brand of ball. And maybe they beat Arkansas tomorrow. I don't know. Especially if you've got Richmond, who I hope that's all that was cramps. I'm 90% positive that's what that was. I don't know what to expect tomorrow. I mean, who knows? It's the SEC championship. I'm gonna lean towards Vanderbilt winning this game, just because it's just like in Arkansas's DNA to lose these games. Do I think Vanderbilt's better than Arkansas? No. Even if they run Arkansas off the floor tomorrow, listen, Arkansas already did that to them. I think now are they both in that same kind of category as far as greatness? Yeah, I think Vanderbilt is somewhere in the top 4, but I don't buy that they're that much better than Florida. I don't buy that they're that much better than Arkansas. But they did end up being in that conversation, as I said they would, by the way. As I said, I mean, I got some pushback on that a couple months ago when I said Vanderbilt's playing pretty high-level ball. I think tomorrow anything could happen. I'm just saying I don't buy them as like a for sure lock 4 seed. I just like I don't buy that Arkansas is a for sure for anyone who thinks they're for sure lock 4 seed. Now, if they win tomorrow, that conversation changes, doesn't it? Yeah, they are riding a 4-game win streak. They've won 5 of their last 6, with their only loss when they went on the road and they got beat down pretty good by Kentucky. So, I don't know. The SEC is either really damn good or really damn mid, isn't it? Like, I don't know. A lot of good offenses. I mean, hell, Vanderbilt's a top 15 scoring offense in the country, or they were all season. Then you factor in Arkansas, Bama, and Georgia. So this will be an interesting matchup. They score they score a lot of points. They're about on the year, they're 87 points. I think in the tournament they're what are they, like 88 points, I think, a game. I know they scored 91 in Florida. But they only scored 75 in their second game against Tennessee. Yeah, that's right. Tennessee was the last game of the season for them was at Knoxville. That's right. And they listen, they won that game. They went in the heart of Tennessee and beat them. They beat Tennessee 2 out of 3 times this year. I think that's right. They play them, yeah. Yeah. Of course, that's right. Yeah, you can't play them twice in the tournament. So yeah, they won 2 out of 3 against Tennessee. I guess that would be their marquee, and that's also something you ask, like, what's their best win of the season? I mean, going to UCF at the time and frog stomping. Well, they didn't frog stomp them, but they beat them. I watched that game. It was a really good game. Vanderbilt controlled, and it was great. Not very many teams at that time. Of course, it was early in the year, but as the year progressed, UCF didn't lose a lot of games at home. And so that was an impressive game. UCF would end up going 21-11 this year, finishing in the middle of the pack of the Big 12. They had a rough end of the year, but yeah, I mean, at the time, after that loss to Vanderbilt, UCF went on like I don't know what it was, like a 11 or 12 game win streak. At the time, that was a pretty impressive win. But I like, what is Vanderbilt's marquee win? That's something you kind of look at in their marquee matchups. How well did they play? I guess it's more about a marquee moment for them. And they did beat Georgia, and taking 2 out of 3 to Tennessee, right? So with Arkansas, they've got a couple of marquee games, and I do think toe to toe they are better than Vanderbilt. But anything can happen tomorrow because it is the SEC championship. It is the SEC championship. So pulling that up and looking at it again. Let's look at that bracket. Pull it up. So yeah, Arkansas and Vanderbilt tomorrow. What's the time on that? Does that say so? Noon tomorrow. Noon tomorrow, Arkansas and Vanderbilt. Man, oh man, 3 live shows in a row. 3 post games in a row. I'm here for it. Let's do it. Your boy's putting in the OT this weekend. Make sure you support your boy. Join Tuss Talk with Ty Patreon. I keep saying it. Lone Sportsman Outfitter says Ty with a face palm. What? You got to be more specific, man. What? Goat always cramps. Michael Perry, 95-78, Vandy. It could happen. I think either way. You never know what to expect in these kind of games. I don't know. Can we get Michael out of here? He's making absolutely wild and dumb predictions every time. Listen, man, that's not exactly breaking rules. You may not like what he says, but he's not breaking rules until he starts breaking rules or starts to really get on my nerves. Arkansas DNA now infused with Cal. Big difference from past coaches. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we'll see. I hope. I do think Arkansas's better. I do. There's some things Arkansas struggles to, it's these kind of games, right? These type of games. Michael says, yes, it will happen. Okay. All right. I don't really care to even make the SEC chip game, but now that we're here, I wouldn't mind winning it. I'm with you, man. I think winning it would be pretty cool, especially year 2 for Cal. That would be special. Even the special people would get to have a voice. Yeah, I mean, until he starts breaking rules or gets on my nerves or spamming things like Arkansas sucks, then yeah, until he starts doing that. Wish YouTube had a message edit tool. Yeah, I agree. Their D isn't that good. Yeah, on the year, yeah, they've definitely. This could be a shootout. It's 2.5 is the spread. It's up to 2.5 now. So minus 2.5 Vanderbilt. So plus 2.5 Arkansas. Arkansas is the better team. Can they shake the heart attack hog DNA? Can they shake the hog gonna hog DNA? Can they shake it tomorrow at noon? Can they do it? It'll be exciting if they do. I think this could, and I think it's probably going to be a shootout. I feel like it could be another overtime game, man. They give up about 75 points a game on the season. In the tournament, it's they've done pretty good. 68 and 74 are the points allowed. That's actually not half bad. But then again, Tennessee and Florida are not offensive juggernauts. And listen, what they did to Florida, if you really want to know, and we talked about it, limit their impact from outside, and that's exactly what Vanderbilt did. They completely shut down. They were 5 of 17. Florida was from outside, forcing 29%. And yeah, Florida known for their front court, but what made Florida better, and we discussed this yesterday a little bit, was their guards starting to knock down the three ball, was the outside shooting. That's what kind of turned Florida around as the season went on. Their guards started playing better. Lee and Flan, from an offensive standpoint, played better. And guess what they did? Flan did have 15 points, 5 of 9. He was 1 of 3 outside. Lee was 1 of 5 outside versus Vanderbilt with just 7 points. They made the guards mostly, not as huge of an impact. And both teams with an 8-man rotation. So going to be similar in that aspect. Vanderbilt was incredible at the free throw line, 21 of 23. But they shot 55% from the floor, holding Florida sub 47%. And they shot 40. They turned it on Vanderbilt. They shot 48% from outside, 10 of 21. They just weren't missing, and I got to catch the second half. Was very impressed with Vanderbilt. And Florida, it did kind of look like Florida was lollygagging. They were lollygagging. That's what the Gators were doing. And Vanderbilt did a good job of taking advantage. They also had 21 assists. 21 assists to 8 turnovers and 8 steals, 3 blocks, 8 offensive boards. Now, Florida had 20 offensive rebounds, but they had 1 more turnover than assist. They had 13 assists to 14 turnovers. Some pretty just not inspiring ball. And you could tell by watching, like, Florida did seem to me like they just wanted to go get ready for the tournament. So, yeah, again, it'd be nice win the SEC championship tomorrow and then lock up maybe a 4 seed at that point, right? That's what we want. That's what we want. If I remember correctly, we bodied, bullied, and destroyed Vandy in the paint. Hashtag too little, bro. Yeah, last time they played Vanderbilt, I mean, it was, it was just bad performance by them. I mean, Arkansas won that game 93-68. Beat them on the boards, 39. Let me pull it, 30. Yeah, right there it is, 39-27. 25 assists to 7 turnovers. They had 10 turnovers in that game. They shot 38% from the floor, 32% from outside. They got into some foul trouble. They got into a little bit of foul trouble. Arkansas, it's the only game in the SEC this year, I think outside of maybe Alabama, when they played on the road against Alabama, talking about Arkansas, where they had at least, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They ended up rotating like 12 guys in that game. Now, a lot of guys just checked in, got a minute, whatever. Richmond and DJ Wagner came off the bench to get 13 and 16 minutes. Acuff only had 17 points in that game. But 4 of your starting 5 were in double digits, and Ewan, off the bench, 23 minutes, had 16 points, 4 boards, a block, 2 offensive rebounds. I mean, he was a force. Pringle had 8 points in this game. He was 4 for 4 with 3 offensive rebounds, no turnovers, and no foul trouble. Brazil had 10 points with 14 rebounds. That's 22 rebounds from your bigs alone in this game, and that's Pringle only playing 16 minutes with Brazil getting 23. The last time they played Vanderbilt. Again, we're talking about the last time they played the Commodores. It was it was just great ball. Everyone participated in that belt to ass to the Commodores. We'll see if they can repeat it tomorrow. Again, talent, the possibility of advancing further in the tournament. To me, everything leans in Arkansas's favor, but I would argue the way Vanderbilt has been playing lately, I think anything could happen. I'm leaning it's really, maybe it's hog PTSD. What do they call it? Is it hog PTSD or whatever? Or you're like, yeah, but this always happens to Arkansas in the SEC championship. They always find a way to lose or in these types of games. Not that they've played in a lot of championships, to be fair, but in these moments, these games that could be huge, they just, whether it's football, basketball, and baseball, they find a way to drop the ball to, I don't want to say the other thing I want to say, but they always find a way to lose these games. And maybe that's what this is. It's the foul ball falling in between three Razorback defenders on the field. It's fumbling a punt return. It's this sort of stuff. It just always happens, and that's maybe that's what it is. I just think they just can't win this in this moment when the lights are on in a very important game. Winning the SEC tournament's a big deal, right? It's another good banner, and it would be your second SEC title, tournament title. Arkansas's better. You just wonder, and that not only that too, but the other reason why I would lean towards Vanderbilt. Because Arkansas had a back alley fight against Ole Miss, who should have been worn out and tired. Should not have been a ball game. It shouldn't have gone to overtime, and it did. And that only favored Vanderbilt. That only favored Vandy. So I don't know, man. But again, everything else, your mind tells you the Razorbacks, your heart tells you Vanderbilt, right? I'm going to catch hell tomorrow if Arkansas wins. I know I am. I'm in East Arkansas. I can't see them either. What are you talking about? You guys are on something else. Okay. It'd be nice to win something, says other Mike, right? If I remember, I already read that comment. Arkansas always plays to the level of competition, says Patrick Smith. It's hard to argue with that. Trollpo says curse of the Arkansas choke. Yeah. All right. Cal says this is a tournament team. Who? Talking about Vanderbilt, or is he talking about his own? Yeah, Vanderbilt is a tournament team. I'm not saying they can't advance. I think watch them play a lot this year. They are absolutely a team. They could go further than anybody. I don't know. Maybe the numbers have been right about them in Texas Tech and Tennessee, who they kept all regular season, keeping them in front of Arkansas. Maybe there's something to it. I don't know. I just think Arkansas, they feel like they're built. They are built to go far in the tournament. It's just their defense, When eating crow has to do with Razorbacks winning, Ty, it tastes so good. That is fair, Fish. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Fish, I don't know. Maybe consider joining Patreon, my friend. You super chat me enough. Why the hell don't you just join Patreon? Cal always says he doesn't care about the SEC tournament, yet he always wins it, says Mark Murdoch. It's been a minute. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised tomorrow. Well, I'm going to work on my thumbnail options tonight. And one of them is obviously assuming Arkansas finds a way to get the dub. I don't know. I might just slap SEC champs all over it, like, oh, my God, we did it. And yet there's still so much work left to be done. Can't get too excited for too long, right? You got the selection show and then the actual tournament. No, in your heart it's Arkansas, in your mind it's Vandy. What did I say? Did I say it the other way around? I thought I said my heart says Arkansas, or maybe either way. I think it works actually. Sad A Cup is Sad A Cuff AI generated Photoshop. I might have to do that with the tears and the big eyes and he's crying. I hope not. I don't want to make that. My mind does say, again, because Arkansas should be a mismatch for Vanderbilt. I just think Arkansas is that much better. I don't know. Arkansas shows out as a team. Again, I hope you guys are all right. I hope you're all right. I am officially going to lean towards Vanderbilt winning this game. I am. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm not changing my mind. No, I'm changing my mind. Arkansas is going to win tomorrow, baby. Arkansas is going to win this game tomorrow. I'm changing my mind mid-show, and I'm going to give a Razorback the post-game gold chain tomorrow. That's happening. I'm picking Arkansas, damn it. They are breaking the curse. There. We're right here on the live. I'm changing my mind. I'm taking Arkansas tomorrow. They're better than Vanderbilt. They belt to ass them. Yeah, it was in Bud Walton Arena. They're better. They're better. They played not good basketball today and still found a way to win. Even with Acuff getting off to one of his slowest starts all year. You had other Razorbacks step up. Yeah, give me the Hogs. Give me the Hogs, Chuck. Let's go!